Would you say from the time you were in and you started, L Ron Hubbard was a god? I mean, he legitimately was like God on earth. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then how do you think they see him now? Is he still the central God figure, or has that been dwindled down a little bit? What's going on in your mind?
Okay, you are correct. L Ron Hubbard was a god, although he went to great pains to say, I'm not God, I'm just a man. But on the other hand, he also said, I'm the only person in the history of the universe who has unraveled the secrets of life. And I am the only person who has come up with a technology. And everything he wrote about in Dianetics and Scientology, he called a technology, as if it's some, scientifically researched, verifiable, factual information. And he said, if you do what I tell you to do, exactly as I tell you to do it, it works 100% of the time. And this is what Scientologists believe. And so they therefore believe, and I talk a lot in my book about this idea of doing what Ron says. And how would LRH deal with this? And what does LRH say about this? And that was what beaten into me from a young age. So Hubbard was seen as a infallible, excuse me. God may be interchangeable with infallible. It's a very hazy definition, even in Scientology, of what God is. There's in fact no definition. It's sort of this make up your own mind. But I'm sorry.
Get those thetans out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm being infested by body thetans. But today, his successor is David Miscavige. And David Miscavige has never proclaimed to be the new L Ron Hubbard. In fact, that's a big no-no in Scientology. That's like there will never be another L Ron Hubbard. There's only one. And so nobody can actually take his place. But Miscavige over the years has done a pretty good job of moving himself into the position where, while no Scientologist would agree with the statement, David Miscavige is the new L Ron Hubbard, they would agree with the statement that David Miscavige is as close to L Ron Hubbard as you can get, and that David Miscavige's word is almost as good as the word of L Ron Hubbard. And so, that being the case, Miscavige has basically usurped the Hubbard empire to become his own empire. And he is the undisputed king of the Scientology world. Everybody bows down and kowtows to him. He can do no wrong in the eyes of Scientologists. They lavish praise on him like he's Kim Jong-un. He is seen to be the most perfect example of Scientologists that there could possibly be on this earth. So in that regard, he is, the new L Ron Hubbard, although no Scientologist would actually agree with that statement because it's sort of like blasphemy to say that.
Right.
On the other hand, I will also say, from my personal experience, that Hubbard had some redeeming qualities. Hubbard was larger than life. He was a very charismatic personality. He could tell a story about everything and anything, and did, including stories about, inventing his technology. He was in many cases quite funny. He had a sense of humor. He could be kind to people. He could also be a raging lunatic. But Miscavige has none of those redeeming qualities. He's just I call him a sociopath. He is a malignant narcissist, whatever the label is that you want to put on him. He has one thing that is at the forefront of his existence: himself. And I believe that Hubbard was a little broader, had a little broader view than that. I believe that Hubbard even bought his own bullshit to some extent about how he had developed methods of solving mankind's problems, and that, you know, he kind of believed it to the end. You know, he was still using his e-meter at the, like, down to the last days of his life.